I've got a very big chart to show you in this YouTube video, and honestly, a lot of you are not going to like this, but you guys know the deal. That's not going to stop me from preaching the truth on this YouTube channel. And this is actually in relation to a very long-term resistance line right here, and actually some very, very accurate previous things that have happened on this chart, which I have to bring to your attention. So guys, if you appreciate these kind of truth bombs, like I'm really putting my balls out on the line to talk about stuff like this. It's not good to do this as a YouTuber. Please do me a favor. Just smash up the likes, make sure you subscribe, tick the bell, do all that good stuff, just to show me that you do want this kind of content. Obviously, a lot of other people won't really be talking about stuff like this because it's not good to do so as a YouTuber. But again, that's never stopped me. It never will. But your support is much, much appreciated. And really what I want to do is just take a look at this trend line right here and show you a couple important things. Now, the first thing is that this trend line, this resistance trend line, it actually starts all the way up here at Bitcoin's current all-time high. So at about $69,000. We touched it again twice later on in March/April right here. We touched it again most recently in September and September again, which is kind of where we are right now. And the reason that this is a really big deal is if we actually draw another line here, let me just make sure I do this correctly, one sec. If we actually draw another line here just as support, bam, right here, we're kind of at the end of the road here for this, descending triangle situation. And actually, if we zoom in, we do have to adjust the trend line a little bit, but we are in quite a clear, potential descending triangle pattern right here. Look at this. If I remove this line right now, we're in a very clear descending triangle right now. And before whoever comes out in the comments and says that descending triangles can't be continuation patterns, I'm going to ask you to just go back and identify descending triangles in Bitcoin's history. Bitcoin actually prints these kind of patterns as continuation patterns all the time. It doesn't as reversal patterns too. So let me show you this right here. There's a beautiful reversal descending triangle that we had, something a little bit like this over here with quite a few deviations, but still it did end up working out. And unfortunately, Bybit's chart doesn't go back this far because Bybit wasn't launched back in 2018. Well, it did launch in 2018, but not until fairly late on in the year. But there was another big descending triangle right here that Bitcoin ended up forming, and this one was actually probably the most popular one that I've ever seen, and Bitcoin did end up kind of dumping down from here as well. So I think that we need to be aware of what's going on here and not sugarcoat things, guys. This was a minus 50% dump right here, and guess what we had on our target for the downside? Again, we dropped by minus 50%. This is actually quite a good way to measure how high, how big the dump can be. We can kind of measure it from these peaks. It doesn't really make a difference. The numbers are broadly the same, but you measure the height of the descending triangle, and then you can actually kind of draw that down to give yourself a target, and we basically hit that exact target right there. So descending triangles are actually very powerful for Bitcoin. They're very common for Bitcoin, and so for someone like me, someone that's been in this market for a very long time now, I stop and pay attention when I see signs like this. And we do have one right here on this chart. But what I actually want to do is just come back to this chart and focus your attention on the longer term line right here for resistance, not so much the short term one just for the minute, but this longer term one instead, and just talk to you a little bit about what this could be hinting at. Because on this chart right here, I've actually drawn for you guys some really, really interesting things, and this is to do with the support levels that we had previously. Now let me just draw this for you fresh on this chart as well, just so that you can kind of see how this came about. And so all I'm doing is I'm kind of looking at this support area that Bitcoin was able to enjoy within this range right here, and I've also just kind of measured how long we were interacting with this level. So this was roughly 104 days that Bitcoin was interacting with this support level, and then eventually we did end up kind of tumbling down, and that was after getting our resistance hit right here. So again, very, very important resistance area. It ended up producing quite a big dump to the downside, and it was actually fairly quick. It was within 6 days that was a 60% dump, and down to our low, it actually halved, right? So you can kind of see where this is going. That's a lot of volatility. To be able to trade something like that, you would have absolutely printed cash, and you guys know the deal, by the way. I'm making all of my trades on Bybit. This is my, well, not all of them, but most of them on Bybit. This is my favorite exchange. It's the one that I've been with for a very long time. I'm actually wearing the t-shirt today by coincidence, so you can tell just how much I do love these guys. Go ahead and check them out in the description with the link down there, because when you sign up using my link, you're going to be getting up to $4,000, something like maybe even a little bit more than $4,000 in bonuses just by signing up using my link in the description down below and making your first deposit. So that's free cash. You can trade with it. You can do whatever you like with it. If you make profits, you can withdraw those profits. You can spend it on whatever you like. Well worth checking out. And of course it supports the channel as well. Just with all these opportunities right here, I think it's worth just kind of having that cash in your account ready to go for when you feel like you're ready to trade. Otherwise, you might even be ready to trade right now as well. But bottom line, it's free money, and this offer will not last forever. So go ahead and check it out if you haven't done so already. But this area of support right here, very, very important. And you know, what I actually want to point out to you guys is just the kind of similarities that we're seeing right now. You see, we got this hit right here at our resistance area as well. It sent the market down by a fair bit. What am I doing here? It sent the market down by a fair bit if we measure this from high to low. It's a 20% drop. I mean, it's nothing crazy, but it's still quite a dump. But what I think is even more important is if we just kind of draw another like support box like this, and we look at how long Bitcoin has been interacting with this, you know, the time frames, they line up pretty well. You know, this is 106 days that we've been here, and just to refresh your memory, this was 105, 104 days, whatever. So we're really at quite similar time frames right now. And if you look at where these lines kind of meet right here, you know, this is you know, we're right at the end. I mean, you know, no matter what Bitcoin does, even if it just kind of floats sideways, we're gonna break the resistance area, or we're gonna break the support area. And there's big, very, very strong implications for both sides that I'm gonna get to in just a minute. So if you are excited for that, do me a favor and smash up the likes on this video just before we get there. The other big thing that I want to focus your attention on, and this one is really big. Remember how in the previous chart I showed you that Bitcoin dumped by 50%? That was the height of the descending triangle, and that's how we can forecast how low the price actually fell. Well, you know, if we take a look at this right here, we've got something quite similar, guys. If we measure this from high to you know, low, basically this was a 46-47% dump right here, depending on how you draw the support level and so on. And this is so painful to talk about, guys. You know, this is pretty much what we saw the next time around. Again, the math will vary depending on how you draw these things, but for the most part, we're getting very, very similar numbers. You know, this was a 50% dump. I mean, it did stop briefly right here, but it was only, you know, a month-long affair, really. It didn't last very long, and then, yeah, Bitcoin ended up falling down significantly lower. Basically, I mean, you know, mirror image of what we saw previously. You know, it just duplicated the same dump, really. Did it even faster. And again, you know, if we're looking at something like that right now, you know, the kind of price targets that gives us, well, let me show you what that looks like right here on this chart. That actually shows us a potential target. Let me just make sure I'm not covering anything. That shows us a potential target. If we follow, you know, on this chart, it's drawn as 48%, but it's broadly speaking the same thing. Again, look at this. So the height was 48% down. Then we dumped by 48% down to this area. And if we reproduce that same kind of dump again, that would be a $9,300 loss. And that would put us at, well, at about $9,900, at about the 10K mark. So quite a strong area of psychological support. You know, one of the things that I actually like about this is, let me just blow up my camera real quick. One of the things that I actually like about this is that everybody is calling for levels like 9,000, 11,000, 12, 14, including myself, but I'm not hearing anyone say 10. And the reason that I think this is significant is if we take a look at what Bitcoin was doing right here. Remember this rally right here, guys? A lot of you guys were obviously in the market back then. I'm curious. How many of you joined the market after this? I'm guessing not very many. It's only been 50 days, but I'm curious. Are there any newcomers that joined the market after the middle of October? I'm sorry, middle of August. Anyway, this rally, everybody was calling for higher levels. I mean, no one really thought that the market would stop at $25,000. You know, everybody, including myself, was thinking at least kind of 27, 30, 33 at the minimum that we would hit kind of 27 and so on. But no, it stopped at exactly where we didn't expect it to. And that is actually synonymous with pretty much every other big market reversal. Actually, we called this market reversal very well on the YouTube channel. Those of you who were watching back then will remember that. But for example, this one I completely missed. You know what I mean? Like a lot of people miss these kind of things. The market kind of reverses at levels that you don't expect it to. And that's one of the reasons that I think this chart is worth paying a little bit of attention to. Not to say that it's actually going to happen, but you know what, guys? The numbers align really, really well. You know, minus 48% trading here for 100 days, minus 48% trading here for 100 days. We've got similar factors providing resistance to us. We've got the Ichimoku cloud. We've got the trend line. It all lines up, really. I mean, we're doing the exact same thing. Everything is pointing towards repeating the same move again. Does that mean it's going to happen? Absolutely not. That's not how probabilities work. But I think that it is something that looks, like there's quite a lot behind it. There's quite a lot behind this kind of idea. And if we do end up getting this kind of dump, that would be quite a strong sell-off, taking us down to that $9,900 level, and I do think that is well worth kind of paying attention to at a time like this in the market. And actually, funnily enough, this is just pure coincidence. This lines up perfectly with the support line that I drew for you guys towards the beginning of the video when I was talking about descending triangles as well. So that's a hell of a coincidence, which again, when these things line up like that, I just think that it really displays the power of technical analysis right here. And I think that is well worth paying attention to. If we do look at the descending triangle, like I said, if we kind of redraw the lines a little bit for this shorter term descending triangle, we're looking at a 40% dump. And if we get something like that right here, another 40% dump would put us around the $12,000 area. I know you can't see the price, but actually let me just hide my webcam so you can see this. That would put us at around the kind of $12,000, $11,000 area, which I actually think is quite likely for the market to drop down to. If we do end up falling, just because there isn't really any support in this range, right? That's why this is such a great range for traders. Obviously, it's not going to be fun. People are going to be very upset, but as a trader, this is great. This is exactly what we want. 40% volatility potentially is bloody enormous. That's, potentially life-changing money, especially if you trade those kind of moves well. And that's why, guys, I really want you guys to get onto Bybit if this is something that you're interested in, because if you're already going to be trading it, or if you're just curious, you're going to get free money to do that. You're going to get $4,000 in your account ready to trade with, depending on what you deposit and all that good stuff, just by following the link in the description. And also, just want to bring to your attention BitGet as well, because they are going to be offering you $8,000 in bonuses as well. So together, you're getting over 10K just by following 2 links in the description. And I've shown you guys how quick it is to get these bonuses in the past. It literally will take you 2 to 3 minutes to get that done. It is way too quick for way too much money for it to be passed up on. So definitely do take advantage of that if you do like the idea of getting all that free cash. And again, just bringing it back to this chart, one of the things that I think makes this quite a credible chart, and the reason that I've called it an accurate one, is because we've reproduced these moves so well, but also this is quite a long-term resistance line, right? We've actually been using this resistance line since November of last year. So that is nearly 1 year now. We're actually just a month behind that. A month behind, coming full circle 1 year to November, and still kind of using the same line as resistance, and when these kind of areas are long-term lines, to me that makes them even more significant, and especially when Bitcoin repeats the same pattern, right? Because bottom line, this was also, a sort of descending triangle. I mean, we didn't really hit the resistance line very much. We only hit the resistance line, what have I done? We only hit the resistance line, once when we formed this resistance line for the first time, and then again 2 or 3, 1 or 2 times over here. So it's not really an ideal descending triangle, but the shape is still, quite clearly there. And I think that's important to keep in mind, because the market is repeating itself right here. I mean, we're doing quite similar things, and that's something which, if you've been watching me for a while, you're gonna know that I actually really gravitate towards things like that, in this market where it's quite clear that the market is kind of reproducing similar characteristics. To me, that's a really big sign that I should be paying attention to something, because when Bitcoin reproduces particular characteristics, it tends to be for a very good reason, and it tends to stick around. It tends to be something that actually holds a lot of weight in the market. So again, as somebody that likes to be very analytical about these things, as somebody that likes to spot these patterns and just identify the characteristics that Bitcoin tends to repeat, that I think is very, very powerful. And actually, I think this is a really big deal, because if you're able to do this, one of the things that can set good traders apart from normal traders is just really understanding and having a good pulse on the market. Like when you really just kind of like a mother understanding her child's heartbeat, just understanding just intrinsically what the market is doing. One of the best ways you can give yourself an advantage to be able to do that is understanding what kind of patterns your particular market produces. This is why people ask me, your skills are transferable from Bitcoin trading to Forex, to stocks or whatever. Why don't you trade other things? And my answer is that I understand Bitcoin, like I get Bitcoin, I get what it does, I understand it, like it's the back of my hand, and a big part of that is knowing the kind of patterns that Bitcoin likes to repeat, which either, you just study and then you discover them, or you live through it. And obviously living through it is a little bit more powerful. It's very, very common. Bitcoin does this all the time. Here's another descending triangle pattern, which actually ended up breaking to the upside. And this is what I want to talk about next. Take a look at this one, right? Similar descending triangle. It doesn't look very nice because we're on the daily time frame, but if I zoom in to say the 8-hour time frame, you'll actually see this is a very obvious big descending triangle that Bitcoin ended up forming right here. 8 hours. Oh, this isn't the 8-hour chart. One sec. I can't show you the 8-hour chart for some reason. Not sure why that doesn't work. But anyway, you kind of get the picture. This was a descending triangle, and this one actually ended up breaking upwards. So I want to change tone a little bit and talk about what might happen if we do end up pumping up. If we do end up rising up, the good news with this area, with this kind of resistance situation, is that, again, we've been under this resistance line for a really long time now, and we've been coiling up, guys. So when this happens, this is a really, really big sign that things could be ready to turn around. And actually, there's something that I want to show you with the Bollinger Bands right here. Bear with me while I bring this up. This is, it's not an indicator that I tend to use, but the reason that I want to show this to you right now is just to show you that, we have tightened by quite a bit. Previously our Bollinger Bands were very, very big. Now if you take a look at them, it's not actually shown very well on this chart, but they're actually quite narrow. And it's just one small example. I don't need to show you indicators to show this to you. This is actually very obvious just looking at the price. We're just not really doing anything, and if you zoom out and you look at this chart with quite a long-term, kind of perspective, you look at the crazy volatility that the market was producing before, and you look at what we're doing now, time is still passing, ladies and gents, but let's just put this in perspective really quickly just to show you how much volatility this market has lost. If we look at this from when we entered this range to now, so again, roughly 100 days, and we compare this to any other 100-day leg, it's absolutely crazy the kind of things that have happened in between, right? This, area, this 100 days also still very, very volatile. Take a look at this. Just between here and here, we're zigzagging all over the place and then going very, very high. This is, again, another 100-day straight. You can draw any 100 days on this chart, and it's very, very volatile compared to where we are right now. Look, here's another random one up to here. Let's draw what this looks like. This is absolutely crazy. Just look at the amount of swinging that we're doing right here within a 100-day time period. And right now we go up, down, sideways pretty much. A little bit of a spike right here, but we're pretty much up, down, and then sideways, and nothing's really going on. And again, these are really, really big signs that big moves could be coming, which, yeah, to the downside is not very exciting, but to the upside, I think the big thing that this could potentially be hinting at is that if we do end up breaking this area of resistance, the bottom, the easiest level that I think we're definitely going to be hitting, is going to be kind of towards that $24,000 resistance area right up here. I think that's going to be a piece of cake. I think that's going to be very easy for Bitcoin to break. And, as long as we get above that, this should have a lot of juice. I would firmly be expecting $30,000. Honestly, it could turn out to be a very nice, very, very nice relief rally for Bitcoin. Whether that means it's a reversal that takes us up to $60,000, $70,000, I don't know, and I don't really want to have that conversation yet, but I absolutely think that this would be a very, very nice reversal pattern. And again, we've got a lot of the right signs that we need to tell us that this is going to be the case. We look at things like the fear and greed index and just see how it's been flatlining in extreme fear. Look at this. It's just a steady straight line, ladies and gents. This is so synonymous with a market that's ready to have a little bit of a relief rally. Doesn't mean we will. Again, absolutely not. None of these things are guaranteed, and the situation in the worldwide stage is horrible right now, but we're going to see the S&P 500 open up. It's already opened up just recently. It's in a little bit of a bounce right now. Let's see what's going on with the dollar. Dollar's continuing to drop, so that's no surprise. Bitcoin is seeing a little bit of strength. Actually, if we kind of stick to a little bit of that short-term analysis, I'm not going to talk too much about it because I'm going to be making another video about this later on tonight, most likely. So again, just make sure that you are subscribed and ready to see that content. But Bitcoin has been seeing a little bit of strength, and I have been saying that while the SPX has been experiencing some weakness, and the dollar has just generally been a little bit volatile, Bitcoin has actually been pretty stable, and it is now kind of punching up just a little bit. So that's nice to see. Again, this is very short-term analysis, so I don't want to fixate on this too much, but sticking to that longer-term perspective, if we are about to get something that's potentially quite big, we've got very, very good reason to believe that this could actually rise quite far, to some quite exciting levels. And that to me is really, really exciting. And no matter which way this goes, I'm going to be very keen on trading it. Both opportunities actually look really good. They look like really clean setups. The nitty-gritty details will of course be shared inside of VIP right here, where I'm sharing all of my trades, all of the details about every single trade I make from A to Z, from my consideration phase to where I commit, to where I'm giving updates when I'm already in the position, and so on how I'm taking profits or navigating a loss, and so on. It's all a very, very intimate process, and you see all the details right here with this with Forfly's VIP. And of course, if you want to know where I'm going to be trading it, if you want to trade it on the same platform as me, or just to get the free money, Bybit is going to be offering you, I believe, at least $4,000, but if not over $4,000 in bonuses. That's money that gets credited straight into your account, which you can trade with when you follow my link in the description down below. And then on top of that, you're getting $8,000 further in bonuses from BitGet, for a total of over 10K in bonuses just by following my links in the description. So definitely go ahead and check both of these guys out. Bybit, as I said, being my preferred option as well. So if you want to trade on the very same exchange that I've been using as my main for all these years, then Bybit is the one. And with that, guys, I really hope you have enjoyed this video. Like I said, I am going to be looking to make another one just later on tonight, so just double check that you are subscribed so you don't miss that one. And I also want to just let you guys know that actually there's a great guy called 𝗪𝗏. Guys, follow me on Instagram if you don't already. I've shown him on my Instagram just recently. A very cool guy called 𝗪𝗏. He's actually Scottish. He has a very thick Scottish accent, but I'm going to be bringing him on the YouTube video. I hope you guys understand him. I'm sure you will. You can understand him, and he is a super smart guy. This guy is he puts my knowledge of economics to shame. And I'm very lucky to be able to bring him on the show tomorrow. So I don't think many of you guys know him. He's not actually that big in our space, but I think he's well worth paying attention to, just generally if you're interested in money and so on. So you're going to see him on the YouTube channel tomorrow. I'll also link his profiles and stuff like that down there in the description. And most likely we're going to be doing that as a live stream. So if you want to be able to catch that live, we're looking at doing that at 9 p.m. Dubai time. So put that in your calendar. That's like 6 p.m. UK time and 10 a.m. LA time. Just off the top of my head, just a few of the key time zones across the world that many of you guys might be interested in. And yeah, he's a really, really cool guy. So we're going to be talking about things like gold. We're going to be talking about things like the dollar. We're going to be explaining kind of what's going on behind the scenes, not just looking at the charts. So I'm really, really excited for that one. Again, just double check that you are subscribed for all of that. And meanwhile, if you do want to get your bonuses, then those links are in the description. And for VIP, bam, right there, all ready and available for you. So there you go. Really hope you have enjoyed this one. You know what to do. If you have, hit up the likes, subscribe, tick the bell, and I'm out. Bye-bye.